So I'll post it again if you guys need to review it or aren't able to stay for the whole thing or know somebody else who wants to see it. So over the past month, we've added a few new features and an entire new e-textbook, which took up most of the team's time for the past month. Not sure if any of you have had a chance to look at it, but we did just launch our ESL e-textbook. So if it's something that interests you and you want to take a look, I suggest signing up for a demo. Or if you want me to sign it up so you've got your same login information, I can take care of that for you. This is just a quick look at it. Follows the same sort of structure as the other books. The one thing this has that we did specifically for ESL is we built in Google Translate, which we know is not perfect, but it allows these students to look at it in their native language while still locking some of the words in English as they're learning. Oh, I see Kristen joined us. Good. Kristen also is at Teachers Discovery. She is handling a lot of the content updates now. So she's a great one to ask content questions to as we're going through. And Wi-Fi or something else, she always seems to have issues. So I'm going to log back out of here and jump into Spanish 1. And if there's specific questions you guys have for the other books, just let me know and we will look at them. One of the changes that we made recently, and you may have noticed it, is if you, let's see if I do this, give me just 1 second. If you are in and try to go back in again, you will get the message telling you that you are already logged in. This should fix a lot of the issues we had early in the year with students being entered and sometimes ending up in classes that were in different books. If you were logged into both 1 and 2 at the same time, for example, sometimes when you added students that you thought were going into Spanish 1, they would end up in Spanish 2 and vice versa. So now you can only be logged into one book at a time. However, if you use multiple browsers, you can have more than one open. Each browser would just have to have a different book. So for example, I've got Spanish 1 open in Chrome right now, and I've got introductory off to the side in Firefox. If you want to be able to have multiple pages open for the same book, I know some students were asking about that because they want to be able to look at a page while they're doing one of the activities. If you right-click on the menu, you can then open the link in a new tab, and it will let you go between those. That doesn't count as 2 logins. So I'm gonna close that. That's the first thing we added. Something that's not visible but should help is in the mini quizzes. It's not checking to make sure the system is still logged in when you submit. It stores the student's data before or right when they start the quiz. So even if they happen to have 2 tabs open and sign out accidentally on one, when they submit the quiz, it will still store their scores. When they go to a different page, it will make them log in again, but they won't lose their work on the quiz. We also fixed an issue on the quiz where if they hit backspace, they would be taken out of the quiz. We fixed that so it overrides the backspace when they're not in a text box, so they shouldn't be kicked off the page. Those were 2 issues that were causing students to get zeros on quizzes. and was understandably frustrating them. So we got those fixed. We've been making adjustments to the answer keys as people have been using them. They've been sending in suggestions, which is great if as you're using it, you notice anything with the answer keys that you have a question whether it's correct or not. Please send an email to help@vocestextbooks.com and we will look at that. Myself and Kristen have been looking at anything that comes through and getting them adjusted as quickly as possible. Something else that we just added in the teachers panel, once you've got a class selected, under Student Manager, there's a new option called View Student ID Cards. If you click on that, it gives you the option to view printable ID cards for your students. So when I look at this one, it splits the page in half and does a print view. So it'll print 8 cards to a page. There is a little bit of wasted space per page, but I fit as many on as I could. So this will be great when you're setting up new classes, whether it's start of the semester or if you want to print them out now to pass out to the students. It gives them their class ID, user ID, tells them what textbook to log into, and also gives them the Voces help email address in case they have any questions or issues while they're working on it. This, I'm hoping, can cut down on the students unable to log in because they've forgotten their credentials when they're at home, whether they write them down wrong or don't write them down at all. We've had a few recently, so I got this added in. In the exploratory and also the first year, we've been going through and making sure all the videos are linked out to pages, which makes it so that we can exclude. If you exclude a video page, it will exclude and remove the button for the video instead of still allowing it to pop up. There's still a few spots where a video will pop up in second year, I believe, but we were working on that as well. Most of those are the Voces interview videos and not the Quack and Move videos or other cultural videos that you may want to exclude. That's the extent of the specific things I wanted to show you. So now I'd like to open up chat to questions. There's also a feature on here where I can turn on your ability to use voice. We can try that if anyone's interested in talking, possibly if it's questions to ask amongst each other. We can give that a shot, but for the most part, we'll try and keep it to chat. All right. Hopefully you guys are thinking of questions to ask. I see chat is still silent. I can go over a couple things from last time that some of you may not have been here for. I know Gladys was here, so she's seen some of those features. Yes, I can go through setting up a class real quick. First thing you do is go to your teachers panel. Once you're in the teachers panel, you'll want to create a new class. We're just going to call this webinar class. So that will create your class and add one sample student to it. If we go down to the student manager and view the students, we see the sample student that's put in there automatically. A class will disappear when you either delete it or if there is no more students. So that's one of the reasons we put a sample in. Sample also gives you a chance to go in as a student in the class. Then there's 3 ways to add students. We can do a quick entry, which is just a comma separated list. So you'll type student name, comma, and so on, and hit process. 2 created, and they're in there. You can do advanced entry, which will let you type their first name, last name, and give them a user ID if you want. So if you have a student ID that they already have, you can add them in that way. The other way is to upload a CSV, which I don't have a sample CSV on here right now. If you have a class list, you can upload that as a comma separated sheet and it will load them in with first name, last name, and a user ID. The last way to add students is if you scroll all the way down under account management, there's student self-registration. If you click here and turn that on, which mine is enabled, it is disabled by default. You can then send students to studentregister.vocestextbooks.com, which will let them select, enter their class ID, and sign themselves up, selecting which class they want to join. And once they hit create user, which I'm not going to do right now because I'm logged in over here, once they create the user, it will add them into your student list. The one warning I always give with that is that if you turn it on, you're going to want to have them all sign up and then turn it off within a day or 2 once all your students are in. If not, if students forget their password, sometimes they'll create a new account, or sometimes if they're bored, they'll create new accounts. Does that give you a good class ID? Is the name you gave? The class ID the students use is the same class ID you use. The class name is purely organizational. They won't have to type that in anywhere. The only place they might have to select it is if you do student self-registration. But if your class ID is Voces 123, your students all have the same class ID, they'll just have unique user IDs. There shouldn't be any browsers that it isn't working in. If there are specific browser and device combinations that your students are having an issue with, Gladys, send me over an email if you know the combination, or have your students let you know, or send me the information themselves and I can work with them to make sure it's working. Sometimes they will have specific browser settings. Yes, Kristen, it could be an older browser. The only one that it would not work with at all would be something prior to Internet Explorer 9, which is pretty uncommon anymore. The most likely reason that it's not working is specific settings they have. Pop-ups blocked, JavaScript disabled, things like that. So a good thing to try is resetting the browser so that it just resets to default, and see if they can get in that way. That would let you know whether it's something on their browser or something with something on their browser settings or something with their computer or the website possibly. Karen, using the text at the same time the student is doing an activity. Can you explain a little bit more what you're asking there? When the students are logged in on their own, you can be on any page as they're working on it. They can. What they'll want to do, most likely, and I've got a student login right here, so let's go with that one. There's two ways they can do it. They can either have the activity open and with another browser tab, open it so that they can switch back and forth between the two. You'll see I've got the two tabs here, one with the text page and one with the workbook activity. The other option is, and I think I've got everything filled out in this book. As they're here, if they submit it, it saves. And then they can go back to a different page and come back and pick up later. That would be the other option. Does that answer? Yes, all workbook activities can be revisited once they've been submitted. They can change it. It will show you every time they press submit. So you'll know if they go back in significantly later. But yes, they can always go back to the page and it'll show them what they did. Correct. Quizzes and masteries do not store their answers. Quizzes don't allow them to take it again unless you reset, which reminds me of another addition I'll cover in a second. Masteries would have everything blank, but it will show them that they previously mastered it. Gladys, about half of the activities are self-correcting. We've got the answer key loaded. Yes, the one that we just had up, this one right here, if I put in an incorrect answer and submit, when it refreshes, we see that I've got question number 3 wrong. If I move it back, press submit again, now I've got it correct. If there is a clear answer or it's multiple choice, we have auto-correcting. If not, then it's one that you can correct on your own. You can also override any of the auto-correcting by marking their answers right or wrong, and it'll hold unless they press submit again. Leslie, yes, I'll go over that in just a second. Karen, let me address that first. There isn't a lockout. there's been a request for a lockout, which is something I'm going to look into adding, where you can set a time that the submit button will disappear for them. I don't know when we're going to get that added in. But you can see if I go into, I'm not going to have anything there. Let's see. If I view the workbook results, and I don't have anything. Let me log out and back into intro where I know I have answers loaded. So if we look here, I can see that this one was submitted September 22nd at 9:30 a.m. Let's find the one I was just working on. This one we can see the 3 times it was submitted. September 22nd, October 14th, I submitted it twice. So you could do a print at a certain time, and then if they do it afterwards, you'll know that they did it afterwards, and they can't necessarily claim that they did it ahead of time. But I think the lockout is going to be a beneficial feature where you can set a deadline for the homework, and after that point, they can't submit it, or if they submit it, it'll be marked in some way as completed but late. Elaine, there's not a good way to reduce sensitivity from a programming standpoint. I may be able to adjust it slightly, but the problem is that when we make an adjustment, it adjusts across the board. So if we tell it to ignore a space in some cases, it's going to ignore them in all cases, which isn't great for reinforcement. Same with punctuation. When it should be a question and they don't write it as such. Just from a programming standpoint, it's difficult to adjust the sensitivity. All right, Leslie, I still haven't forgotten about your question, and I'll get to it right after Bridget. Can you give me, maybe email me more details on a specific, if it's a specific result or exactly what's happening? If there is a glitch in a student response, it could cause an error when you try and view their answers. I think I fixed most of the spots where it would glitch, but it's things like that which will help me track down any straggling character issues. So please do send me more details on that. All right, there are a couple different types of activities, quizzes, things like that. The quizzes are one time only, and what we'll do, we're logged into intro. So I'm going to create a student real quick, or use one that hasn't logged in. So let's take this one. I'll log in my other browser so we can go back and forth very easily to that. So give me just 1 second. All right, I'm logged in with a brand new student here. So we do the greeting section and we go into, I'll do one workbook activity and one quiz. Yes, Elaine, please email over if there's one that you, answer key issues that you found. We've been finding and fixing them on the fly along the way. Yes, we are definitely fixing anything we find. It was a lot of things to copy and paste, and there very easily could have been some errors on my part there. So let's do a couple of these. Let's see. Let's see if I can remember my Spanish all. And I'm going to get one of them wrong on purpose, just so we can see the auto grading at work. So once the student submits, it tells them the work has been saved, and I can see that I got 4 out of 6. From a teacher standpoint, when that goes through, if I go to that same workbook activity, the easiest grade, or the easiest way to grade a page is going to be by going to that page and pressing the green check mark at the bottom. That will show you all your students for all classes and the work that they've done on it. So I can see that John Smith got 2, 4, 5, and 6 correct, and 1 and 3 wrong. I can also at the top see the answer key. The answer key is at the top of every one of these green check mark boxes. It is not in the teachers panel. That's another thing that makes this a little bit easier. So once I've looked at it, if I want to tell them to try harder, I can also see when it was submitted, and then I press save. At which point I can switch back. And if John Smith refreshes the page, I've got an exclamation point here, and I click on that, and I get the note from the teacher telling me that I need to try harder, which this is 5, and this is 2. So once I've submitted it, it fixes it. It does leave the comment, but when we go back over to the teacher side, we can see that it's been submitted a second time, and now everything is correct. You can also grade going into, let me log back into the correct one, into the teachers panel, going to view workbook results, and then this is class specific. So since I have Chris's class selected, it will only show me the students for that class, which is very similar to the last one, since I do only have one class. But if there's multiple classes and you want to grade them all at once, the green check mark is the easier way to go. So back to the student side. There are some, such as this one, which is write an appropriate response. Their longer answer, they don't have a clear right or wrong. So if I just write that and submit it, there's no feedback that comes back through to the student because this one's set as answers will vary. So when you go in as a teacher to activity 3, you'll see in the answer key, answers will vary for each line. That lets you know that it does not auto grade them, so you'll need to go down, mark it correct, and save. With the green check mark, you need to make sure and save after you edit each of the classes on the page and not at the very end, because it does all its logic by class. So it won't save all of them if you've done all of them and only press save in one box. The other type is the quizzes. And I don't want to go in as a teacher, I want to go in as a student. So once a student starts a quiz, they cannot take it again unless you reset it. So when I click start the quiz, it's going to come up and let the student know that it's serious. They really do only get to take it once. So when it comes up, let's see. We're just going to film that one and press submit. And I got nothing wrong, or nothing right, 10 wrong. I see what I got wrong. I don't know what the correct answer was. The quiz is designed as more of that one-time only assessment, so it does lock them out and does not give them correct answers. When I go into view this as a teacher, I go into view quiz results, select the quiz, I believe that was greetings, and I can see 0 out of 10. If I click view answers, I can see what was typed and what the correct answer according to our answer key would be. I also have the option to reset the score. The last new thing we added that I forgot to mention earlier is a bulk reset. We also fixed, there was a glitch going on in reset that was only letting you reset one and then have to reload the page. Now you can reset individually, one after the other, or you can reset all of the quizzes, all of this quiz for the class. So if the greetings quiz, if 30 students took it, and you want to reset all of them, you just click reset all quizzes for this class, confirm that you really want to, and it clears out all of their quizzes. It's only that quiz and it's only that class. So if you've got 5 classes, you do have to go into each one and reset it, but now instead of doing it 30 times in each class, you only have to click it once. Did that answer everything you were looking for? Is there something in one of the specific books anyone wants to see? Yes, Bridget. I'm hoping to do these once a month. We had just over 50 people last month, so I'm hoping to be able to, I guess, build a community of teachers that we can discuss new things, new additions that you guys are looking for, how you're using it, and successes that you've had with it in class, as well as any issues. What we'd like to do is different webinars for teachers who don't have it, so that we can do more of a broad overview. If you've got a couple teachers specifically in mind, send me an email and we can set up a time. I would definitely be willing to do a small session with you and a few other teachers, just as more of a broad overview. Going through specific content pages, audio, video, things like that. I think that would be more effective for them. We also do have a referral program. So if you're interested in helping get other teachers signed up with Voces, definitely let me know. Yeah, send me an email and I'll post my email as well as the help email. And yeah, we'll set up a time and wherever we can get them all together. Where are you located at? All right. Don't trying to think if we have any conferences out that way. I don't believe we do for Spanish. I know we've got English and history shows in November. Out that way. All right, just a warning for email contact info. If you're going to put it in chat, because this is recording, it will show up in the video. I'm not making the videos public, but we are sharing the links. So as long as you're not worried about your email address going out, feel free to share it. If not, I can connect you to after this by emailing both of you, and then you guys can resume the. Yeah, exactly what Kristen's saying. I'm just using more words. And Karen, that is great to hear that you're using it exclusively. I may email you and ask for if you could even put together a small testimonial talking about how you're using it exclusively. I think that would be great for our website and for our sales materials, to know just how a teacher is using it exclusively and how you made the switch from physical textbooks over to the e-textbooks. As far as the contacting back and forth as well, we are looking at adding a forum or some sort of message board back. We'll probably put it in the teachers panel to allow teachers to discuss things with each other, share ideas, things like that. I'm still working on the specifics of it, but that's something to look for in the near future. At the moment, you cannot alter the quizzes. They are set and they same question, same order each time. If there's a specific way you can think of us being able to improve the quizzes, definitely let me know. Um, I've got a few ideas as well. And now that we've launched ESL and history will be launching soon, I will have a bit more time for some upgrades to start rolling out for the beginning of next year. Kristen, did you want me to ask you the mic or give you speaking privileges, or do you want to just type? All right, I'm not sure exactly how this works. I think I need you to. All right, can you turn your voice on? I don't think I need it to be in QA mode.
Hi, can you hear me?
It looks like I have to turn here. All right, Kristen, you should have microphone now.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Chris? Can you hear me? You can. Okay. Since we now have the feature where you can turn off pages, we're looking at including in intro some tests or assessments. And with the new feature, would you like to have the assessments available to the students in the book, not as a PDF that you hand out?
Yes, Kristen, I can hear you on
Do you
that
hear
one.
me?
All right,
Okay.
on that,
That was what I was concerned about, because I know that when they looked at it initially before the option was to turn off the pages, that there were the open-ended questions, and also that at that time they didn't want students to go move ahead on the assessments. It's good to know.
what if the quizzes were not auto-graded? What if it was a different type of quiz where it only let them take it once but did not auto-grade?
Okay, thank you. Now, one thing that Elaine had brought up today was that she would like to have answer keys to the mini quizzes. They currently, it just gives, those are the ones that are self-grading. Is this something you'd also be interested in?
You can see the answers for the mini quizzes. When you look at the quiz in the teacher's panel and view the answers, you can see what would be in the answer key. It's not shown more conveniently, I guess would be the best way to put it. So that's something we can definitely look at. Yes,
Okay,
and
the
the mastery
masteries
exercise keys
and
aren't anywhere.
now we will have, so you wouldn't want that for the quizzes. So it's for the listening mastery, the grammar masteries. Okay.
All right, does anybody else have any questions, specific things they'd like to see? Kristen tried to make it so none of you could hear either of us. Yeah, I feel like monthly is probably the best amount of time. I'm thinking probably the second week of each month. And at the last one, I talked about kind of changing up which time and day, just in case people have certain things on one night. If they miss one month, hopefully they can make another. So since this is a Tuesday, I'll probably end up doing a Thursday, and we'll go back to a little earlier time slot, probably the 6 o'clock again. If any of you are planning on going to the actual conference, we will be down there. We'll also be at the English show and history show if you happen to be in DC or in Boston and want to stop by and say hi. All right. Can you guys see I just put my email address up? Or you can email help@vocesetextbooks.com. I'm not sure if those are showing up correctly though. Yes, I will email out the certificates tomorrow. I will grab the email addresses and edit the previous one for the right date and amount of time, and I'll get that sent over. I will resend you that. I'm making a note right now to resend that to you. So I will get you both of them tomorrow. Thank you for joining us, Karen, and we will be in touch. Again, I'd love to hear how you're using Voces. I will email it over to you, Leslie. So you will get it in the morning. Yes, thank you everyone for joining us, and I will post the video, and we'll post that out on Twitter, so you'll be able to see if there's anything you missed or you wanted to look it over. Elaine will make sure to get you and Karen connected. Nellie, I see that you just joined in. I will have the video posted. However, if you have any specific questions, I will definitely answer it for you. All right, well, if there are no specific questions, I'm going to end the session and look forward to hearing from you guys in the coming weeks and seeing you at the next community meeting in November. Thank you.